When exploring these various Bible passages about hierarchy, it's very difficult to avoid the obvious question. If hierarchy is indeed the foundation for spiritual authority in the church, why is there no clear explanation of it anywhere in the New Testament? Like Jethro's explanation to Moses of the hierarchical system of judges and its function, or Samuel's explanation to the Israelites of the hierarchical kingship and its costs. Instead, we're left to construct a model of church hierarchy from very debatable interpretations of this verse over here in light of that verse over there, and so on. Why? Of course, the common rationalization for finding no explicit model of church hierarchy is that the Bible doesn't want to spell it out because there's no wrong way to do church. But if that were true, then that would include a church without a hierarchy. Yet for some reason, we still insist a church without a hierarchy is unscriptural. So what we really mean is, there's no wrong way to do church, except without some sort of hierarchy, even though that hierarchy isn't clearly defined anywhere in the New Testament. So how do we explain this glaring contradiction? Well, some people have told me that there are plenty of verses about hierarchy in the church. Then they cite verse after verse about church leadership and spiritual authority. But these verses talk about authority, not hierarchy. If you think those two things are synonymous, we can untangle that knot when we get into videos about spiritual authority and discipleship in the church. For now, it's enough to say that even though there are verses that speak of church authority, there is still no clear explanation of one position over another, a model of who reports to whom, unless you connect some dots that simply aren't there. Of course, you could also point a finger at me saying, "Hey, you're doing the same thing we are," taking an implication from a verse here and connecting it to an inference there to try to build an argument against hierarchy. For example, when Jesus spoke about the authority of the community, was he specifically contradicting Jethro's hierarchy? Maybe, maybe not. So that could actually make a good counterpoint, except for one thing. The reason the New Testament doesn't explicitly say anything against church hierarchy is because, as I've already mentioned, it doesn't discuss church hierarchy at all. And that's because hierarchy was never part of the original discussions about church. And why not? Well, it's really just common sense. After all, if I were writing a cookbook, I wouldn't list all the ingredients not to add to a recipe. Ah, but wait. So, then if there's no explicit warning against hierarchy, doesn't that mean we can add it to the church? Yes, we can, and we have, for about 1700 years in fact. But at what cost? Remember, God warned the Israelites that installing a man-made kingship would cost them the best of their livestock, the best of their crops, along with the best of their people, because the king would appropriate all these things for himself. And that's really all I'm saying. Although God might allow us to add hierarchy to the church all day long, just as he allowed the Israelites to add their coveted kingship, it comes at an enormous cost. First, it adds a level of separation between us and our God. Just as Israel's installation of a king was a rejection of God's kingship, installing man-made positions of authority above ourselves in the church is simply a rejection of Christ's headship of his church. And second, it hinders our congregation's spiritual growth because true pastoring is spiritual parenting, and that happens only in a family, not in a hierarchy. Because a family is a social group that's good for raising sons and daughters, and a hierarchy is a social system that's only good for ruling subordinates. If you like this video, please check out the rest of my blog at churchanarchist.com. There you'll find other videos, cartoons, blog posts, and a lot more. Or if you prefer to simply watch my videos on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching.